Good day, all. This is King B News and Views with another video. This article is from IFL Science. All right. And it reads, some tea bags release millions of microplastics that could enter intestinal cells. All right. Now, one of my oldest videos, if you go back and preview my oldest videos, I've done videos talking about microplastics in bottled water, forever chemicals in the tap water as well, right? So now we have tea bags. So let's get into this article from IFL Science. And it reads, new research has suggested that polymer-based tea bags could release micro and nanoplastics into the bodies of consumers and the environment. However, the study shows not all tea bags are alike, even from a tiny sample. There's no need to abandon your comforting cup, which may well be good for your health. On the other hand, the results may influence your chosen tea delivery mechanism. Concerns that tea bags could release microplastics along with the flavor of the leaves have been around for a while. 5 years ago, a study showed that the bags release billions of plastic particles when steeped in near boiling point water, even when empty. The researchers also found water fleas exposed to the microplastics developed some anatomical and behavioral abnormalities. Concern about microplastics in the environment has risen since then, although their health effects in humans are still debated. Now, a Spanish-German collaboration has tested 3 types of commercially available tea bags made from nylon 6, polypropylene, and cellulose bio-based polymer, respectively, to see how many micro and nano-sized particles they released when 300 bags were brewed in 6 milliliters or 95 degrees Celsius or 203 degrees Fahrenheit water. The nylon and polypropylene bags were bought empty. The cellulose bags contained green tea and were emptied and rinsed before testing. The results certainly make for scary headlines, although their case is still not conclusive. An astonishing 1.2 billion particles per milliliter were released by the polypropylene bags with an average diameter of 137 nanometers. Even when allowing for the fact the researchers used 300 bags per test, that's still a lot of particles. Cellulose produced 135 million particles per milliliter, although on average they were almost twice as large. Nylon 6 proved less prolific, which the authors attribute to woven polymers, presenting more resistance and durability, but still release 8.18 million particles per milliliter. The number of particles is less important than how a type might affect the body. Cellulose is abundant in the cell walls of green plants, and our bodies have had hundreds of millions of years to find ways to process it, in contrast to nylon and polypropylene. The researchers then tested whether mucus-producing cells derived from human intestines took up these particles in culture over a 24-hour period. The authors were unable to establish any definitive consequences from exposure to the shed particles. Irrespective of their type, the cells did not show any measurable damage or produce extra reactive oxygen species after absorbing the plastic particles. However, all 3 sorts of particles interact with the cell's nuclei. Previous studies have not always been able to identify the type of particles they detected. This team used 6 different approaches, including infrared spectroscopy and laser Doppler velocimetry, to fill the gap. We have managed to innovatively characterize these pollutants with a set of cutting edge techniques, which is a very important tool to advance research on their possible impacts on human health, said study co author Dr. Albert Garcia Rodriguez of the Autonomous University of Barcelona in a statement. Tea drinkers' primary concern from this work is probably what the plastic particles are doing to the digestive system, but disposal of the bags may also be an issue. If the bags break down into billions of particles too small to see in the soil, they're biologically degraded, but that doesn't mean they aren't potentially harmful to the environment. A more relevant test is whether the bags are compostable, but in most cases, we have only the manufacturer's word to go on if that's the case. Alarming as these findings might sound, it is worth remembering that many studies have found positive health effects from green tea drinking in moderation, and not all of them were funded by the tea industry. A meta-analysis of 14 studies on the association between coffee, tea, and head and neck cancer released today produced mixed results depending on the type of cancer and the rate of tea consumption. Nevertheless, there was no evidence of an epidemic of microplastic-induced cancers in the upper body from tea drinking. Epidemiological evidence for tea bags contributing to cancer elsewhere in the body is similarly lacking. These studies seldom distinguish between those who use bags versus loose leaf drinkers, let alone what the bag was made of. However, a large proportion of tea drinkers have possibly been ingesting micro nanoplastics for some time. So if the negative consequences of bags were very large, they ought to have shown up. This study is published open access in the journal Chemosphere. And that's some science into that. So what it sounds like, what I'm getting from that is be careful what type of tea bags you're purchasing, what the bags is made of, or look into just not using bags at all, just getting loose leaf tea and steeping it some other way. Stay away from the bags. That's what I get from that article. Interesting article released 4 hours ago. Let's get into another article. We have an egg recall going on. All right, we have an egg recall. And this is from Newsweek. And this article is 4 hours old. Eggs recall updated as FDA sets highest risk level. So what's new? After New York-based farm operation recalled its eggs in 5 states last month, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has given the recall its most serious safety classification. Hanson Brook Farms initiated a voluntary recall of its 24-count organic pasture-raised eggs, which are sold under the Kirkland signature brand name due to a potential salmonella contamination. Why it matters. Salmonella is the most common cause of food poisoning in the U.S. Consumption of contaminated food may trigger an infection known as salmonellosis, which can strike from 6 hours to 6 days following consumption, according to the U.S. Food Safety and Inspection Service. Although most cases of salmonellosis are mild, young children, the elderly, and people who have weakened immune systems are vulnerable to infections that could potentially be fatal. Symptoms can last from 4 to 7 days and include abdominal cramps, diarrhea, and fever. Severe cases can include a range of other symptoms involving joints and the nervous system. What we know. Hanson Brook Farms has recalled products that were distributed to 25 Costco stores in Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. The recall is for eggs packaged in a plastic carton with the Julienne code 327 and a use-by date of January 6, 2025. The UPC number 966-191-0680 is also included on packaging. No illnesses have been reported in connection with the product at this time. The recall was initiated on November 26, and the FDA issued its classification on December 20th. What people are saying. In an email shared with Newsweek, the company said it regrets the recall has occurred and apologized for the inconvenience. A recent report from Civic Science revealed that over 80% of Americans are worried about food recalls. Nearly a third of respondents said that they were very worried. The data was based on more than 2,000 U.S. adults collected between December 2nd and 4th, and then weighted to be nationally represented. So what's next? The recall for these products is ongoing. Customers who are in possession of the product that has been recalled are urged not to consume it and should instead return the eggs to their local Costco store, where they will receive a full refund. Those with additional questions about the recall can call Hanson Brook Farms on weekdays at 646-733-4532, extension 1, from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Eastern Time, according to the original recall notice. All right, and people are very worried and should be worried because every single day for the past year, we're seeing multiple recalls. I'm still seeing stories about cucumbers, right? Cucumbers and a whole lot of foods. I did a video months ago about cucumbers. All right. So there's a war going on. There's like war being waged. They're attacking us through the food. Coffee break. Even with coffee, I seen something about coffee recall before. Every day there's something, and this is kind of I can't. You know what? I don't remember a time when like this where every single day you've just seen multiple stories of food recalls. Everything from fruits to teas to coffee to vegetables to our food, meat recall. Every single day, right? Nanoplastics. Nanoplastics in water, nanoplastics in bottled water. Okay, what's going on today is this. I recently spotted a story talking about something with the wristwatches, those smart watches or whatever they call. A problem with that. I mean, if you look, every day there's just a story going on about, from products to everything from products we use, accessories, clothes, right? The clothes you wear. I know there was something about for the people who shop online, Shein, buying clothes from Shein. Something with the clothes, chemicals in the clothes, dangerous chemicals in the clothes, right? What a time it is right now. What's going on today in life? Okay, with wars going on and rumors of war, as I've stated before, there's many different ways to wage war, right? Threats to our water system here in the U.S. I did a story on that months ago as well. The attack on our water infrastructure. Right? Check my previous videos. There's a lot of my older videos where I really I put out important information, you know, because this has been ongoing. This has been ongoing, you know, as well as you know, again, from our water infrastructure, clothes, food, drinks, tea, now tea, you know, tea bags. Like I just read the article a few minutes ago. You know what I'm saying? Um, Different ways of waging war, attack on our people, right? It seemed every day there seemed to be another story of a melanated man or woman, young man or young woman found suspended or tied to a tree or a pole or it just can get overwhelming. I mean, after a while, it gets overwhelming. You know, because it seemed to be nonstop. And when it comes to my folks out there, my melanated family out there, I just, I keep thinking, what is it going to take for us to come together? You know? Because it's just nonstop. And I wonder if we come together, like us coming together, and we band together and stick together, we can turn things around. You know. The question is, will enough of us do it? Be willing to do that? Or are we going to continue to be selfish with this, every man for themselves, every woman for themselves, and especially with the, this problem with melanated man versus the melanated woman, right? I even see it in the so-called spiritual community or conscious community. All this knowledge that people seem to have, they put out a lot of good information. Yes, a lot of it, most of it is regurgitated from others who pass information along and have done great work, but still good information for those who've never heard it before or just becoming aware, right, and starting their journey of learning true knowledge. But at the same time, they seem to be a little short-sighted because they're falling for the trap of they're falling for the trap of thinking it's about gender when you're talking about feminine energy and masculine energy. You see? They think it's about gender, especially some of my sisters out there. They think it's about gender. Feminine energy is just that. It's energy. It's not about gender. Right? Same with masculine energy. Right? You are a symbol of that energy. You represent the energy. Everything is about energy. Right? we fall for the trap of thinking about it and talking about it in a physical way. And that's where a lot of them out there is getting, that's where they trip. They're getting caught up. They're tripping themselves up because they're not thinking in terms of energy. You got to think about it and talk about it in a proper way. So we continue to have this, I see this issue of the melanated man versus the melanated woman, or especially with the sisters out there. You know, they kind of sound like, when you hear some of them talk, like spiritual feminists. You know? A lot of my brothers out there as well. They don't have to understand. See, one thing you have to get is you have to balance the energy. It's about balance. Feminine energy and masculine energy need to balance each other out. That is the true marriage. The true marriage that needs to take place is a union of the energies, feminine energy and masculine energy. As I've just stated a few seconds ago, we are a symbol of that energy, of the energy, masculine energy, feminine energy. When a man and a woman stand together in union and get married, they stand as a union of feminine energy and masculine energy. They're symbolizing that. All right? They're symbolizing that woman did the work and married the energies, feminine energy and the masculine energy within herself in perfect union within herself, and they have become whole within herself in perfect union. She has become supreme, the supreme being. That man is symbolizing that he also have done the work and have married the energies within his self, feminine energy and masculine energy within himself in perfect union, marriage within his self, and he has become the supreme being, representing the supreme being, the all source. And then that man and that woman physically come together and married to symbolize the marriage that have already taken place with the energy. See? That's what it means. Now you're talking about when you get down to it, you're talking about that energy inside of you. Where's the masculine energy and the feminine energy coming from? You're talking about your pineal gland and your pituitary gland. Okay? Hypothalamus gland also plays a part in that. All right? This is what's happening. So when you see a lot of marriages fail, it's because we're skipping the most important part. And that's why marriages don't work. That's why a lot of marriages fail and end up in divorce. A lot of relationships, serious relationships, can't get past the fiancé stage, right? People break up and now you have children or a child or children growing up and the young ones growing up in a broken home because we're skipping the most important part. Right? We're stuck in the symbolism, but don't know, but don't know what the true meaning of what the symbolism is supposed to stand for. We're not doing the work, right? What it says, faith without work is dead. You have to do the work. You're skipping the most important part. So just like with the food and the clothes and the drinks and accessories you wear, you put on your body, the war is being waged in many different ways. We even waging war against ourselves. Most of us unknowingly. When are we going to wake up? This is King B News and Views. Thank you for tuning in. For those who stuck around for this long to the end of this video, I appreciate you. Once again, a lot of information in my previous videos, right? And I'm going to continue putting out important information. Whether who watches or who don't watch it. I mean, the information I put out, those who are meant to view it and see it, will see it. All right? Shout out to all my subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. And love yourself unconditionally. Don't skip the steps. Learn the steps. Seek real knowledge, true knowledge. Keep your loved ones close. And don't forget, you truly love someone, right? Don't be afraid to let them go if they wanted to go and continue on their journey and walk a different path. Understand that they're on their journey. We each have our own journey that we are traveling on. And sometimes we reach a point in our journey where, a separation takes place. But if you truly love someone, you wish them well and you love them from afar, right? If it's meant to be, your paths will cross again. Keep seeking out real knowledge, true knowledge. Don't quit on yourself, whatever you do. Keep our children and babies safe, especially our women as well. It's real important. Look out for each other out there. Be safe out there. This is King B News and Views. To the next video. Be safe and be well, everyone. Peace.